Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the Sort of Chaos podcast. Do we have sound? Can you unmute your phone for a little second? So that's the maximum. God damn it! 1 second, ladies and gentlemen. This is a mic check 1 2 1 2. Why does shit always happen before we go live? Everything was perfect. There was no settings fucking changed. 1 2 1 2 1 2. Sorry, fellas, if you hear this, and ladies, we having technical problems once again. I don't know how to figure it out. Okay, this is another mic check. I can't seem to get rid of that fucking hiss. Hopefully you can hear us better. 1 2 1 2 1 2. Yeah, but I still have the hiss on. God damn it. Okay, so we figured out the levels, but we still don't know what the source of the hiss is. So stand by if you wish. I have to re-edit this. I just wish they would have just been crystal from the beginning. God damn it. Okay, this is the final mic check. If we won't make it this time, I'm sorry to waste your time, ladies and gentlemen. I fucking tried. So tell me how my voice is. Is it decent? Okay, so the sound was too loud, but now our voices might be too low, so I have to compensate with a little gain from here. Is it? Let me see how my voice is. Sorry, ladies and gentlemen, I have a 20 seconds delay before I can tell if my voice is okay or not. Is that maximum? All right, close enough. All right, I'm just gonna record this externally, just in case. All right, because we have our voices like crystal clear in here. All right. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Life is horrible in a sort of chaos podcast. Welcome to the show. It's my pleasure to have beside me Ana Maria Dibu. Hello.
Hi.
You might know her from a previous podcast. She is a lifestyle coach, and also she wrote a new book before she broke her hand,
Mm-hmm.
which is called "The Lifestyle of a Gentleman." Right.
Yep.
I'm here to ask her what it's about because I haven't read it. I have skimmed over it, but if I have the pleasure of having the author here, why not have her, convince me I need to like get into it, and God knows I need to some hints about regarding being a gentleman. What's going on?
Well, apart from being in a serious amount of pain, life's good, and very happy to be back here and be with you.
I'm sure you didn't miss the technical difficulties.
Well, it was better last time, but me and my luck, I think I brought it here.
Uh, by our bad lucks combined, this happened.
Mm-hmm.
So what's going on? How did you break your hand?
So I was snowboarding, and I was going fast and straight, and until I wasn't.
Until you
Until I
suddenly
stopped.
wasn't, yeah. Like
So yeah, that's what I was doing. Like one turn, and there was ice, and here we are, two double fracture on my left wrist.
double fracture. She was supposed to. You were supposed to do the Wednesday podcast.
And this is how the universe punished me
Yeah, yeah.
for
And
not
she's like, I'm
coming.
at the mountains. I'm like, don't worry, we can do another one in the weekend. You go
Mhm.
ahead and enjoy that snow.
And
A-
then
and I was
karma
like,
hit.
I hope you broke your hand.
Break a
Break
leg.
your hand. Oh shit, I forgot the. Anyway, yeah, the research. I promised her I'm gonna find stuff regarding her hand to like kind of tease her. But actually, I'm very sorry it happened. You have to leave soon too, right? To
It's alright.
Istanbul
Yeah,
or
yeah,
something.
yeah. On Monday.
Yeah. So it's
Going to be a fun trip.
yeah, I bet it probably the trip will take your mind away from the pain, so it's a good thing. But
Yeah, yeah. Well, we do what we can to live our lives to the best.
I like the optimism. I would have bitched of half an hour if it happened to me.
Well,
You
I
see
am
my
bitching
luck?
inside.
All right, I appreciate the
So,
honesty.
but yeah, you have to, be okay with the level where you are at and aim for better. And if you can't, then deal with the pain.
I respect that. Are you on painkillers right now?
I actually forgot to take the evening one, so
Oof.
I'm in quite some pain, but that's all right. Because
I have to blow some of the smoke her way.
I'll be like, give me more.
I don't think it will help you that much. I'm sorry it happened to you. I truly am. That being said, I am gonna keep making fun of it.
Okay, fair enough.
So tell us what your book is about.
So,
First of all, for those of you who don't know, like I said, she's a lifestyle coach. She doesn't teach just in Romania, but also abroad, mostly United States. But I would
yeah,
say you traveled all over the world,
yeah,
for in quite a lot of few places, right?
But it's mainly the US, and then the rest of the world is the bonus.
The bonus. All right, I get it. Well, I'm sure there would be a lot of people interested, but the times are crazy right now.
Well, if we're crazy enough, we can make it even in crazy times. So it depends on the level of crazy we want to act on.
Oh, wise words. Hopefully, you're right.
Thank you, and I hope we go soon to at least a little bit more freedom, if not a normal.
Are you doing the vaccine yet?
If I have to, in order to travel, I will.
All right.
But if I don't, I won't. I mean, and again, this is my. I'm not giving advice on it. I'm not saying this is the way. Whoever wants to do it, they're free to do it. Whoever wants to not do it, it's up to them. It's that my own personal decision, and you know.
Yeah, I love your little disclaimer. Don't worry. We'll get to the book. But why, like, do you not want to put something new in your body? Because I was hesitant for a while, but
Do you want to do it?
I would, yeah. Because
Mm-hmm.
my girl was gonna start work full time, and I'm probably gonna start having more shoots,
Mm-hmm.
exposing myself. That being said, my greatest fear was my mom getting it, which she did in December, and
Sorry.
she no, it's okay. She's healthier than me. She
Okay.
does gym and shit like religiously, and she aced it. Like she didn't feel nothing. She doesn't have,
Oh.
but I still want to do it. Like it's enough. Enough people have done it of all ages,
Mm-hmm.
from my known people, and they're okay. That I would do it.
I mean, I'm not afraid that something bad might happen to me. I'm just
If it's not necessary,
yeah, yeah. I mean, it's like when it comes to painkillers. If it's not really bad, I won't take them. So that's kind of my philosophy when it comes to medicines and vaccines and all that. I'm just trying to keep it as low as possible or as inexistent as possible in my body.
yeah, I respect that. It's okay. Plus, you're pretty young. I don't know if it's true, but as far as I understand, it's if you take it, if you do have the vaccine, you're not home free. I mean, you can still take it, just you
Yeah.
won't show symptoms or
Mm-hmm.
and maybe have like runny nose or whatever to give it to somebody else.
Yeah. Sharing is caring.
Sure is in this case.
But I don't like the idea that I mean, if I have to do it to like redo it over 6 months and then redo it and redo it, I mean, I'm gonna do it if necessary as close to the time I need it. So I'll postpone the. Plus, I don't like needles. So if I
Ah,
can
that's
drink the
just it.
thing,
Just give me a cup, put in a couple of shots, and we'll
yeah,
see.
just let me have it like that because I just hate needles.
They're not that bad. Close your eyes.
They're horrible. I'm still going to feel it with my eyes closed. So
Come on.
yeah, I just like no. I did acupuncture, which is still involves a lot of needles, but I didn't get over it. I'm just no.
All right. Scaredy cat. Give her a hand, everybody. She needs it.
I need your help, and
All right, cool. Probably they're gonna eventually impose, I would think, for travel.
we'll see. As of now, it's the PCR test that started to get mandatory to travel, and I know I'll have to get one when I come back from Istanbul. And if it's positive, then I have 2 extra weeks in Istanbul until I can come back. So again, if you look at it, it's bad. If you look at it from like the positive angle, it's 2 more weeks in Istanbul. So
I don't know. Like I told you, I've been in November at the beginning, and it was enough. 4 days was enough because it's
okay.
cold weather. It's a lovely
it's
city, but
it's freezing cold, and especially like during this time of the year, like winter and early spring, late autumn, like you've been, it's just miserably cold. But
that
it encourages you to dress according to you know, their habits and traditions and their religion, like more conservative. So that's fine.
does it. You just you wanna kind of joked about like we didn't even get this COVID winter. We didn't even get to wear all our fancy winter clothes. You know what I
Oh,
mean?
okay.
I literally dressed up just to visit because we're looking for a house. You know what I mean? And we literally just I would dress up just to go and see a house and then
I
come
get
back.
that. It's so rare that we get the opportunity to dress up
Yeah,
lately. So I would take up the opportunity to do so.
uh,
I get it. I'm actually like planning for a couple days my outfits for Istanbul because I'm like I want to feel pretty.
yeah. That's what I'm saying. Like, take advantage of the occasion, and
I
it's
will.
the last days of winter, so put everything on display.
All the fur,
Oh,
natural.
natural fur.
Yeah,
All right. So
I
fuck
don't care.
PETA.
Yeah, I love my furs.
Yeah. Okay.
And eating dead
Are there under
animals.
10?
Mm?
Are there under 10? Like the furs, the amount of furs. Over
Under
10?
10
Under 10?
as
All right,
as
that's
of now.
decent.
As of now, I get rich and very furry and diamonds and pearls.
Leave the planet alone, Anna. There's artificial one too. Nobody knows.
They're all right. They're
No,
all
I'm
right.
kidding. My girl just got one. as a gift.
There you go.
So, what made you write this book?
So I think we live in a world where everything is inclined to be delivered as practical, so to live more practical rather than beautiful. And the aim of my book is to show people that you can live in a practical world in a beautiful way. You can
All right.
live in a way that elevates your spirit first and pleases you first, and then because you're feeling better with yourself and about yourself, then it shows up in your interactions with others.
Okay.
So
And,
that's the aim of the book, to
all
give
right.
you like a guide. It's not a recipe. It's in, you don't have like 10 steps to being a gentleman or living more beautifully. It's rather a guide from which you can create a lifestyle that you want according to parts that fit your way of being.
Oh, well put. Are you thinking eventually of? 'Cause God knows, ladies need one too.
Well, I mean, parts of this book would be, let's say, for both genders, in a sense where, let's say, I have the relationship part, like how to be a gentleman in a relationship.
Hmm.
So that also shows both sides, like how the lady should be in a relationship and how the gentleman should
Oh,
be in
okay.
a relationship. So it puts them together in a very nicely wrapped package, and how to live harmoniously together. And then we have the online manners, which again they don't differ from men to women. So
Online manners.
yeah,
Is there a chapter in this book for online manners?
yes, it starts with WhatsApp, Facebook. It also goes through like dating online and like
You
apps
touch on
for,
Tinder.
yes, of course.
There we go.
And all the way to what kind of pictures do you send online and to whom and all that, as well as email etiquette and yeah, kind of brushes over everything.
All right, you got me curious. So, how should a gentleman act online? Step one: don't make a podcast where you swear a lot.
Step one: stop sending voice messages as comfortable as they are, or if you do, make them under a minute. That would be a number one rule. And the reason why is because some people read very fast, like I do. I read super fast. And when I have to listen to somebody speaking maybe slowly and be like, and all that, it's boring for me. And I'm like, okay, get to the subject already. And because I need to, move
Yeah, you
forward.
you read very fast, but I type very slow.
You have voice to text.
Yeah, I use that sometimes, but sometimes it just dictates wrong.
Again, I'm guilty.
And then I spend more time just hunting the words that I got wrong and kind of like, all right, that's a good hint for me because I always either call me or like I'm gonna send you like a voicemail because I don't have time for this. I
Well,
should.
sometimes I'm guilty of that myself, but
I
I'm
know.
trying to keep it as short as possible.
Yeah, that's a good hint. At least give me like
Mm-hmm.
digestible bits.
Because like a minute would be easy to, brush through and, get the idea and not have to spend like 5 minutes listening to a 5 minutes long voice message.
Yeah, so it's something that you can see is way. Plus, you can see it in you don't have to
Mhm.
like bother anybody else.
And in the same time, if you give too much information in a voice message, you can, like, by the time you're at the end of the message and want to reply, you may forget what you just listened, like bits of it, and you have to go again and re-listen again. It's just like wasting time on both ends.
All right. Are you the type that makes like a huge like paragraph? Because that's also sucks when you write down and then the other person replies to your thing, but you didn't finish your thing, so it becomes two threads of conversation where you answer the thing.
Yeah, well, depending on the context, I might tend to write long messages, but then I realize like what I did, and then I'm like rephrasing it. I'm erasing it and rephrasing it in something that's as short as it can be.
All right, that's cool. On the one hand, if you're talking about dating though, that seems like insecure. You know, when they go like typing stop. I'm like, no, this girl doesn't know what she wants.
Well,
to
yeah,
say.
yes and no, because I don't want to bore. I don't like a novel via WhatsApp. It's annoying. So just get to the subject or call me, as you said.
Yeah, those are the best.
And speaking of phone calls and manners, you don't call someone in other than in between 8 a.m. and 8 p.m. That's the only acceptable time frame to call someone. And some would say that it's even 9 a.m. to 8 p.m. because some people wake up a little later.
You mean like in a business context?
Any context.
Fuck that.
Like, for example, even my mom, like it's indecent to call my mom. I just feel it after 8.
What if you're on different time schedules?
I'm trying to schedule it as best as I can so I won't call later than 8. It's just how I was brought up. So
Yeah, it's pretty mannerable, but
I
maybe
mean,
this
if
is the if I would call like if it's something like I would call you last night. We didn't need to because we set this
mhm.
up in time, but I would have called you at 8:30 to be like not over 9:30. I think.
See, so this is the point with the book. It kind of gives a guideline. So the the book says 8 to 8, but you can adapt it to what feels right because you usually know and can feel like what's right to, when it's right to call someone and not. It's just like it's something that it's in you, so you'll adapt.
Fuck, I'm gonna send this book to my clients because I get like 11:30. Ah, we like the edit.
Oh
Thanks. I sent
God.
the mail at 6 p.m. I don't tell. I'm not talking about Fearless. I'm talking about the remaining clients. Some of them actually like, oh, these are great. All right, thanks. I was
Yeah,
just
and that's why I keep my phone on silent.
yeah
After sometimes even after 6, if I don't want to be bothered, it's on silent. You can't reach me. I'm like out.
yeah. I'm very hard to reach too. I understand. So
Because
this is a more of a like a manner thing. But tell me about a gentleman.
a
Let's talk
gentleman.
about Tinder. Actually, Dave made a Tinder hacks
I
thing. It was
know.
pretty good, like a couple of years ago.
I know, and I've also witnessed an analysis he did on Tinder profiles of clients
Yeah, it was
for
pretty good. I
Fearless.
edited that.
It
Uh,
was just
uh,
awesome, and
yeah,
he did one like this year as well. And I was like, "This is brilliant!" And I learned something from it. And then I helped other guys that weren't like clients, but were like acquaintances
yeah.
to identify girls that were like all filters and all edits. And I'm like, "How can you not see it? Like it's there."
Now, man, we have a simple brain. I remember high school how we just instantly. So you would know if one of your classroom mates she didn't have big boobies, but second day you come with a push up, your old stupid male brain just overrides it. Like, oh, she always
Girl.
have boobs. I guess she always did. We did. We can't. It's hard for this. Um. So yeah, how should I make my Tinder profile in case I want to get out there?
Well,
My girls give me the look.
not that I'm an expert on Tinder, but I would say
How would you like a man not to be? First of all, so what annoys you about the
I
mistakes men
don't
do?
want to see braggy pictures. I don't want to see you in a luxurious destination. Because if you have one picture from, I don't know, somewhere fancy like Maldives or whatever, and then you have pictures behind your, I don't know, in your backyard, I'm like, okay, that says a lot about you. So I don't want pictures with kids that are not yours. I don't want pictures with dogs or cats because I'm like, okay, you're clearly trying to impress.
Why?
Because
That's
it's
you
it's
like.
obvious manipulation.
Why is it? Why is it? Because this is a construction of. Because you know it's obvious that there you want to attract. Maybe I
Do
like.
you want to bring the dog while you're fucking the girl, or
Sure, you
mm,
can lick my nuts from behind. You can
mm-hmm.
get extra pleasure. No, that's not the
There
point.
you
The
go.
point is I'm trying to describe something about my personality.
Okay, so
I'm not saying
use
there's. I never was on Tinder to be just like surfing the internet and seeing the people. I know there's people, guys who exaggerate and they're like, "See, I'm Snow White," and the animals, and every
yep,
picture, every two pictures is a dog. But I guess one picture of a pet, like, see,
maybe, but I'm against it. I personally, I mean, I won't be like no, but it
you
would
have
like,
to further research. Yeah,
yeah,
it's
I'll
a
be like,
flag.
okay,
Let's see the context of this. Yeah.
yeah, and then I would always read the description. So if the description is like my sign is Gemini and I'm 3 years old and I'm spontaneous, I'm like, okay, next. I don't care how good your pictures are. If your description is bad, that's a big no-no for me. So I want to see there what you want, what you don't want, what you like, what you dislike, and then what you're looking for. Because
It's Tinder. I'm looking for pussy.
you would say
Initially,
it's obvious for the girls, but it's not.
of course, you
All
gotta.
of them would hope that maybe if I fuck him right, or if I'm cool enough, he'll date me.
Yeah, of course. I don't judge that. It's normal. But at the first, like it's Tinder. What are we talking about? Right? How am I? All right. So how many do you have a limit on Tinder for pictures?
A limit?
Yeah,
No, but I would say ideally around five.
5 is enough.
Ideally, yeah, at least five.
That's also like a challenge with yourself to kind of describe yourself as best as possible and in like
Hmm.
a
Yeah, but see, this is where you make a the difference between like a quality person and a person that's like, because if even if you're just dating for one, I mean, going out for one night or whatever, you don't want to be like shit quality person.
Yeah, I guess. What should girls do on Tinder? Uh, Not so many titties at once.
No, no. It's
It can be no titties. Then you
you
then
can
you
have cleavage. Nobody said don't have a cleavage or like shorter skirt or whatever. Or but sexy is not how you dress. Sexy is an attitude. So if you have that attitude and if you have the sexiness in you, it's just the way you pose and the way you look and your energy vibes. It's that.
let's face it, Tinder is just a platform for girls to choose who to date. Come on. There's I did an episode on this, but I think it's like the ratio of what is it, swipe rights with a good one or swipe left, I forget. Whatever. The acceptance, the request ratio, it's like 8 to 1 or 10 to 1 for
Okay.
women and like women contacting men. I'm hearing in the baby. Uh, Dude, just look at the chat for 1 minute. We beg you. All right, time out. Uh, Guys, unfortunately, the audio is busted. The problem with this is if I push the audio up, can you hear me better now? Can you unmute it, baby? Let's see if I resolved it.
Die, okay.
No, I just turned it up. I just turned it up by like 70%. No, 30%. How is it now, people? It's all right. We know most viewers are Romanian. Not the ones in the future, though. Though. All right. I think it's good enough now. If it's still bad enough, don't worry. We are also recording this, and regarding the chaos part of it, I'm gonna edit the good parts of it, and repost it. So this is more of a. It's good for me. It's good for me. All right, we're good. All right. I wanted to. I skimmed through your book. I have it saved here. I wanted to go through a few chapters, and maybe you can tell me what they're about. All right,
Okay.
if that's okay with you. Um, it. I saved it on the drive. Unfortunately, I can't show it to you guys on the screen because we don't have much space to do so. But I'm just gonna skim through them. Um, so the first one says, the first chapter, a gentleman keeps his word.
Yeah, that's part of the first chapter, which is the honor code, which is made of 7 points,
Oh, so
of
this is
which
a point. Yeah, I
yeah.
should say the honor code is the 1st
Mhm.
chapter, and then the first point of the first chapter
Yeah.
is a gentleman keeps his word.
So the honor code is something that you create for yourself, both as a man and as a woman, and it's made of the things you stand for and things you don't stand for, and it shows eventually who you decide to be or become or continue being. So let's say keeping your word, right? uh, if you decide that that's something that you resonate with, you will make that your your code, and you will stick to it, and you'll never go around it, or you know mm,
I think it's
not respect yourself in that way. Because let's say I'm offering to help you with something, and then last minute I'm like, you know what, something came up, and something didn't came up, and I know that, but I was just too coward maybe to not say that something came up or I don't want to come, even from the beginning when I accepted your request. So keeping my word means, hey, I don't want to help you with that, and stick to that. Or if I'm saying I'm going to help you, I'm going to do my very best to help you and be there with you, for you, and do what I said I'm going to do. But so all goes straight to being true to yourself.
yeah, and also not over promising.
Mm-hmm.
So being true to yourself, because I try to do that. I know that my schedule is chaos and stuff like that. So when sometimes I rather not promise.
Yeah,
If it's a
and
promise, if it's an engagement thing, I try to obviously make it. But if it's a promise thing, I can't promise. I can promise.
and
So
and I'd better receive a like I'm not sure, I don't know, rather than yes, I'm gonna be there and rely on you, and then when the moment comes, just be left alone.
yeah, but at a
That's
certain point, at least when it comes to relationships, girls will be like, "Can you promise me anything? Can you already
and
own up to something?"
and you'll be like, no,
And that, yeah, that's the
that's
honorable thing to do.
exactly, and it's gonna be maybe a bit of a headache in the moment. You'll be like, what do you mean no?
Yeah,
But ultimately it will bring clarity within the relationship between you two, like the boundaries, what she can expect and not expect from you, and where she knows that she needs to stand on her own 2 feet and deal with life.
yeah,
So I think it's super important for the health of the relationship to understand these limits and make them known. Because what some people will do, both men and women, they will say, yeah, I'll do anything for you. And then that anything comes up, and you're like, well, yeah, anything but this. And then resentment comes up, and then, the relationship, once the resentment is there and is not dealt with, the relationship is on a path down.
yeah. All right, cool. I like it. Um, the second point says, a gentleman. So this is one. A gentleman is noble at heart. What is noble? It's such a subjective thing.
It is. And nobility is very abstract. But funny thing about nobility is that whenever you're around it, you feel it. You cannot not identify nobility when you're around someone like that. And let me put it
What is it?
well, nobility, a person that's noble gives you that feeling of well-being just by being there. They don't have to do anything. They have that kind smile, and the energy is so warm and inviting and pleasant, and you just cannot imagine conflict around them or with them. And a noble person is someone that people go to when they're in time of need, because they know, not because they're there all the time, but because they know that they can rely on them, and they are wise enough and will be there for them with a a smart advice.
Yeah, I would agree with it, minus the conflict part. I mean, why would a noble person not actively search conflict, right? But
Well,
what does conflict? Having the capability of going to conflict and nobility have to do
well,
with
they
one another.
wouldn't entertain the conflicts. Let's put it that way.
Oh, well said. All right.
They would
They would try to
receive you as a person. They'd be like, okay, I see your point, but they would try to diminish the conflict instead of accentuating
adding
it.
fire to the
They would
gas to the fire.
go around it like in a very diplomatic way that makes you feel good about it.
All right. So keeping your shit together and being solid, right? Like just
Yeah,
being.
yeah, that would be another side of nobility.
All right.
Yeah.
Cool.
And
Alright.
again, not looking, because a noble person is always looking to make their life experience good. So if you're going their way with like a fight or anything, they'll try to bring goodness in between you two, so they can be good eventually.
Yeah.
If it
The
makes
the
sense.
people from PETA are sure are noble.
Yeah, the most of all.
They are. Wouldn't you consider somebody who? Listen, this is obviously a splitting whatever everybody, and it's the same thing for vegetarianism and meat and whatever. But the point of the matter is they are no, like the underlying feeling that they have about themselves
Mm-hmm.
is noble. They're trying to help
Well,
the planet, even if it's sometimes is misconstrued, constructed the way
mhm.
they put it in.
Well, the part that's less noble about them, it's the
Virtue signaling.
destroying part.
What did they destroy?
Well, they went after people wearing like real fur and were throwing paint on their coats. Like the animal is already dead. What you're doing is making them go kill another one to get another fur. So
Yeah, but I think in that case, it's more a psychology of making a statement. So if this is gonna go on, no matter what I do, then I might as well do this because you're gonna buy another one anyway, and I make a point and make you miserable. I disagree. I agree. That's a stupid thing to do, but
and
yeah,
this is where being a noble is a choice. You don't have to be one, but you also have to be okay with, I would say, maybe the consequences of not being a noble. because you'll be seen in a certain way, and you will be, people will react to you in a specific way. So you choose, and then you live with the consequences.
Yeah, I guess. All right. Peter, it was just a joke, but but yeah, in my opinion, their intentions are noble, but sometimes how they react to their nobility, the feeling they want to transmit is silly. A gentleman is noble at heart. A gentleman respects himself and others. That should be pretty obvious. Should it be?
Yes
But
and
it's not.
no, it's not. It's not. And respecting yourself comes with, let's say, the way you're setting your house. Like, is your house messy? Is your house clean? Is your house, does your house or room, maybe you're just sharing an apartment, do they give you a good feeling when you're getting home? Because when you wake up and you wake up in a place that doesn't make you feel right, then your day is going to be bad from that moment onward, right?
I agree.
And then, so you start with that. You take care of your space, and you take care of how it looks and how it makes you feel. And you don't have to, have expensive furniture. It's just, what do you put into it and how do you put into it that makes it feel good or bad. And then it goes to how much you're sleeping, how much you're working out, or if you are you going to a doctor to
So
see if you're
this
in
is
good
more
health?
of a respect your body type of thing. Then we
And
can get to the psyche too. I know
yeah,
there's a side of that too.
because if you're not feeling right, if you're not well fed, if you're sick all the time, how can you go the length to becoming a noble? You just don't have the energy, because all your energy is consumed by your pains and your struggles and
Yeah.
your bad
Let's say that
energy.
nobilism is not
It's the
the
coating.
target for everybody, but you can go for efficiency for whatever the hell for being more
Exactly.
successful, and you need to
So
optimize yourself to do.
so moving, like, scaling down to, let's say, you're a business person, or you're working in a corporation or whatever. You can't do your meetings or targets if you are stressed, not sleeping enough, you're in pain, you're feeling sick from various reasons. You just can't be there 100%.
I
So,
know.
so you can't be the true professional that you want to be. And it has nothing to do with being a noble or not, or being a gentleman or a lady or not. It's just respecting yourself and your body and who you are.
I agree. I agree. I don't practice it, but I agree. I try to. It's not black and white. It's a scale, and if you can improve a little bit,
Exactly. It's all the 1%. You just grow a little bit every day, or
it reminds me of Jordan Peterson's book, The 12 Rules of Life, and the very first rule is like take care of your room, like make your bed, which is like obviously a metaphor for like your surroundings have to like empower you to do more. You know what I mean? And
exactly.
I feel it. I've lived years and years being a piece of shit. Waking, I mean, as a 20-year-old, I still am, but it's occasional. But I'm talking about weeks and weeks of just having pizza boxes everywhere and stuff, and then you can't, you don't even know where to begin
Exactly.
doing your life. But once you kind of like clean your room and everything, then it's like, all right, it's a start. Now what? Now we can go outside and see what we
Yeah.
can. It took me a long time to do that, and I'm not very proud of it. But it also has a factor of how you've grown. I wasn't grown very strict from this. My mom always would tell me clean your fucking room or anything, everything, but I
And you
wouldn't.
wouldn't.
Wouldn't. So I kind of discovered it once I left home.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? She also wouldn't force me that much. You know what I mean? Maybe that if it was a more of a militaristic kind of like you're doing your fucking benefit, then you hate it when you're a kid, but when you grow older, you're like, oh, I see the benefit of this.
Mm-hmm.
But some people, like me or worse, never kind of have that instilled in them. My
Yeah, but
mom said it, but there was nothing for me to do it to see the benefits of. That when I got to college and left, lived a few years being a piece of shit. Then when I finally did it, then it kind of clicked.
mm-hmm.
Too late, a little bit.
It's
Never.
it's better later than never. And
Yeah.
I think it's the difference between great people and not so great people is that the great ones figure out their issues and start working on them.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter how
I agree.
late or long it takes you, as long as you're willing to put the effort in and scale yourself up. That's all that matters. And that's what this book is about. This book is not about transforming you overnight. This book is about creating a lifestyle that fits you, that you choose to live, and then stay true to that. Because you can't live beautifully for a month and then go back to who you were because you're just wasting your time. It's a commitment to yourself.
Yeah, the 1% increase
Mhm.
rule type of thing, right?
Yeah.
Cool. I agree with that, and I like it. Hopefully, it's as well transmitted here as you just did. A gentleman is kind. Yes. Uh, I think you also have a chapter here, like where a gentleman can also access his dark side if he needs
Yes,
to. So
it's
in
the
that
last point.
context, yes,
It's so here's where because we're all like animals. All like our core is
preach it to
animalistic,
the choir, sister.
and and then what makes us raise from that level of being an animal, basically, it's that decision to be better and like coat that animalistic but not cover it, not hide it, but just coat it with something that makes you sweeter to yourself and to life. So being kind adds up to that coating and makes you it kind of it's kind of related to being noble, because a noble person would be kind, but it also goes to just little things. Like, for example, I had this very old lady neighbor, and I saw her kind of wavering in front of the steps, and I was like, do you need help? And she was like, well, no, I can, I'll make it upstairs. And I was like, well, I can help you. So I took her bags, because she had like some bags, and I carried her like from her arm, and she was in tears after she made it up with me, and she was so happy. And that would be an act of kindness.
Yeah.
Not to brag, but it was the first example that came to my mind.
Yes, of course, and it's lovely to do. It's for your soul when you do stuff like this. But when it comes straight to let's tackle the same subject, but in the context of relationships. Tell me what's the difference, and tell them what's the difference between being a gentleman and uh, being kind to the point where people step all over you, including your loved one.
Well, that's about setting limits. Once you decide, so before being in a relationship, everyone should know who they are about, what they are about, and what they want and what they don't want. Like, really set it very straight.
Hmm.
And once they do that, the moment they enter a relationship, they should make that very well known to their partner. And if the partner or potential partner accepts it, that's wonderful. And if they don't, that's good as well, because there are other people that would. And I'm not saying that you'll figure out your limits or your wants and desires like from 16, but
That's what I'm saying. I was
you're
gonna say.
learning.
Yeah, but you can't expect most people to like.
It's a decision.
It's arguably you always change throughout your life, but more arguably up until 30 you change more. So you're in a continuous state of like figuring out who you are. You can expect people to try to search for that up until they have a relationship.
Yeah, but
So there was the rule like have relationships and fuck the other, mentally and psychologically destroy, make mistakes in other people's lives until you figure it out, because you need to have relationships even if you're
and
20.
that's where relationships are important in shaping you into who you are and who you're becoming.
Yeah.
Because you're learning, and you'll always learn, and you'll always change and grow with through your life, and that never stops, because you'll be very different from your 20s to your 30s and your 40s. And if something major happens, you can have shifts from like in 5 years. You don't need the gap of 10 years. So I think people will always grow, and where relationships fail, speaking of relationship, is because people tend to grow apart instead of growing together, because it's so much more work to grow together. Because you're starting at a point and you like each other very much, and you have obviously your ideals about how that person should be and how their relationship should be, but you have to step down back on earth and see who they really are, and if they match, what's your perception of the future, and then notice your partner and see where they are shifting and how they are shifting and growing, and try to understand them, and then make them see you, or ideally they should see you, not be made, right?
Okay. Um, I would argue that men and women have different goals in their 20s.
Oh, definitely. But nobody
Especially
knows what they want in their 20s.
nowadays.
I'm getting out of them soon, so I know.
And
You don't know.
I've been out a while, and I know I still don't know. No, I do. You have a better idea of it, or at least you're tired of just searching for the unattainable, and you're more realistic with your expectations
Mhm.
about what life has to offer and how you can use that. But um, about relationships, I think we touched on this on the last podcast you were here, but um, you, I have a saying that if you ever meet a decent girl, she's the product of other men being in her life. And there's two ways that could have gone where she could have learned her lessons. Either they were uh, trying to like bring her down to earth when they wanted some peace, but she was young. So she's the result of the nagging. I had a problem with a couple of girls I loved
Mm.
when I was younger, and I didn't know how to handle it. But the problem is, it's this thing I was talking about. I think it was my insecurity of accepting the fact that they really didn't want a serious relationship either. They were just scared of being alone. So they kind
Mm-hmm.
of, so in me trying seeing that, I kind of told them like, if you want a relationship, you have to do this and this and this. Like I was trying to like compress them.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? And I think I was pretty patient and whatever the hell. I wasn't patient. What am I kidding? But I think like my nags, uh, some of them were good, but because it was so nagging, she could only uh, take advantage of them by hating me.
Mm-hmm.
So I nagged her enough till like fuck you, and then she had a new relationship and she was a better girl, applying some of my nags,
Mm-hmm.
but not with me because they were set in a naggy way.
Well, this is how this book would help in a sense, where it's not what you say to your partner, but how you say it to
Amen.
your partner.
That's
You can say to someone, some like you're stupid, and they're like, no, you're stupid, and start an argument. Or you can say, I think you're not. I mean, I don't agree with you here because X, Y, Z. I see your point, but I just disagree with you. Like, there's a big difference. But most people are very reactive to life and what happens to them, and especially to their partners. I think we tend to react more than respond to our partners. Maybe because we have such high expectations from them.
yeah, yeah. I understand the difference between like your girls seemingly being pissed about something little, and then you're like, okay, what is this really about?
Mm-hmm.
Because this is not about no fucking forklift. And like, what is it?
Exactly. And girls should learn how to communicate with men. And men, make an effort to
Well, the
communicate and
world should
see.
be perfect. It won't happen.
Well, it
I
can
think
happen.
it can happen. You can improve on that, but let's face it, women are the chaos, and men can be chaos. But uh, or maybe this is just narrow-minded in me. But I think you should try to kind of like, okay, what is it? Because you are the
Exactly. You as a man are more solid in your
you should be
emotion, or
at
should
least.
be.
Yeah,
And so when a woman goes like wild about stuff, we can be like you said, like, hey, what's this about?
yeah,
What's actually wrong? And then he'll be like, nothing. Or depending on how angry she is, she'll be like, nothing, obviously. And then she'll eventually open up and let you know what's wrong. But they should learn as well. And it can be done. No matter the age, it can be done. You can learn how to communicate to your partner because it saves you a lot of energy and anger and wasted time. Like, what's the point of getting in all those conflicts? And some women use conflict to manipulate their men into getting their attention and whatever. But that's not the kind of women I'm trying to sell this book to, or the next one.
yeah. Okay, fair enough. I agree to you with everything you said to a point where it gets boring. And
What exactly?
let me explain. Obviously, I grew. I'm not in my 20s anymore. Far from it. But once I kind of figured out, I was honest enough to be like, all right, this is. I was the girls were not. Maybe they were whores too, whores. But I was an asshole whore,
Mm-hmm.
whatever too. So it took a long time, like up until my 26, I think, or 25, 26, to be like, let go of all this fucking hate,
Mm-hmm.
because you weren't perfect either. And then, but with my girl, for example, sometimes she would do the nothing's wrong thing, and I mix it up. I get bored, so sometimes I access the emotion. So if because the way it would go sometimes is she's like, I'm okay. what happened, baby? And I see obviously the energy's off. So I'm like, what's going on? With all the wisdom I accumulated over the years, she's like, nothing, nothing. And right as I'm about to fall asleep,
She starts talking.
she starts talking. You know what I mean? So this is not new to me, but it's very cute with my girl, at least until now. But we don't reach that point anymore. Not always. Sometimes I let it rest if I feel like it's something she needs to figure out and
Mm-hmm.
then tell me. But sometimes when I feel it's a little thing and she won't talk to me, I say something mean. So I don't play. I'm like, I passed. What's wrong? Nothing. All right. You look ugly today. I just say something. It's just, I don't think I ever said this, but this could be on the table. Whatever inspires me in the moment to like get an emotion after her, because then she kind of rises up and like she gets offended, and then she breaks, and then I can be like, oh, so that's what's the matter, right? So I'm saving myself some time and
Mm-hmm.
some being upset at one another.
Yeah.
I don't always go for that because, like I said, sometimes it's okay to let her even, and she's at least my girl, like she kind of understands sometimes like okay leave him alone,
Mm-hmm.
and that was it surprised me how quick she was to understand that about me. But sometimes I believe beside the point being kind and patient or whatever, sometimes you got to poke the bull, you got to beat the bull a little bit, you know.
Well, yes, and that can be done as you presented it, or if you know her well enough, you can twist it, and be like, I know it's
Oh
not
yes, I
that.
do.
So it really, really depends on your patience level, like what you're going through in that day, and how well you know her. 'Cause if it's a new relationship, and if it's a new relationship and you're already having big problems, then
Yeah, what are you doing?
maybe it's not what you're supposed to be in.
Yeah, but
But
I think it's even more crucial in the new relationships. Obviously, after you had, I don't mean the first time you fucked and then it's the third
mhm,
date and you're just getting, I mean like a month, 2, 3, if some like uh, the initial conditions have been set by both people and you're kind of
mhm.
like really enjoying it and going with the flow, then I think that's the perfect time to not always be, to sometimes poke.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Just to see how that girl defends herself, how
I
can
think
she
that's yeah.
stands up for herself.
Hmm.
So fuck that niceness. I'm nice by what I do. I'm nice that I know within myself that I want this girl to feel protected and not just to see me in a certain way. It's how my mama raised me. Let's just
Hmm.
say I'm gonna open the door. I'm gonna do whatever the hell, right? But because I want to. But it's the perfect time to poke you. And I had girls I was in love with that could walk too easily all over them. So then my dick was like, nah,
Yeah, I mean, I can understand that
you know,
because you need polarity in a couple.
yeah.
You
Well,
need to, like kind of push each other here and there to see
and
what's.
you rather figure, and for women too, I think you rather figure that sooner than later because you're
Of
saving
course.
yourself some time. Even for women, like poke him a little bit, and if you see him like getting mad, or to be like, all right, red flag, is this guy gonna beat me? Like
Mm-hmm.
save yourself some time.
Yeah, and also, it's just learning faster about who that person is. You don't want to figure it out like 2 or 3 years later.
Yeah. So and this is where I wanted to get because in the end, you can have a relationship while growing, touching to the point we were talking
Mm-hmm.
about. But I think the thing you need to work on is like not only identifying all or while you identify what you think you want and have uh, closing in these gaps of figuring out what people
Are
because
about.
yeah because the most miserable people, men and women,
Mm-hmm.
but obviously women it's more to my landemunaști, like it's more to my experience. The ones who don't learn, the guys, 25 guys. She's 36,
Mm-hmm.
all assholes. Really, dude, all assholes.
Yeah, it
So
can be.
yeah.
It
So
can
if you
really be.
didn't learn nothing from it, then you don't know how to close that gap of all right, I figured you out. You're not good for me because I know what I
Mm-hmm.
want now. No, they just keep
Yeah,
attracting
well,
the same guy and being pissed about the
bad
same things.
decisions.
Yeah.
Just pure bad decisions. You're never learning and you have issues you don't want to address in yourself. And then these kind of people will always project their issues on other people, and then they will never see theirs, and will see.
Yeah. Men too. Ah, they're all whores. I had acquaintances.
Oh yeah,
They're all whores.
I know them.
I know, but when my dick is up, I want them all to be whores. But once that magic is over, I want them to be human. I want to
Yeah,
like being around them.
and people too often make up their mind about someone before they actually get to know them. And then wherever they go through together, they'll never get rid of that first image that they made up their like those very rigid people.
Yeah, but I think that's just an overprotection of being fucked when they were younger. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but it's not an excuse because
That's
it's
the other extreme of
yeah.
I'm not gonna date no one now, or be extra careful so that I sabotage my own relationship. So as that to prove that all women are whores.
That's exactly what it is. Yeah, self sabotage, and it's so sad.
Yeah.
And they will always choose the woman to confirm their ideas that
Yeah.
they're all whores. It's like those guys who say, "Oh, you can never find a quality woman anymore," and blah blah. But they go to the same places over and over and over again, like the same bars in north of Bucharest, and like, "Oh, they're all after my money." I'm like, well, that's what they're there for.
Yeah.
Because they know that that's where the money are, and that's why they're there. If you want a woman that doesn't want that, maybe change the places where you go out.
Yeah.
Or if you always pick up girls from a club, well, what do you expect? I'm not saying that all girls in the club going to the club are of low quality, but most of them, like if she's there every weekend and she has nothing better to do with her life and losing nights after nights, no matter the age,
Yeah.
what does that say about her?
Well, don't go to like you said, don't
Yeah.
go to the if she goes. Then you go if you be like, why are you breaking up with me? I'm like, you're in dau cu pizda în populație mode. Like, you just want to have fun. I respect that, but sometimes girls they want to go club and they also want a different relationship. And when the guys like, listen, this is if you're gonna do this every weekend, then it's you're not doing nothing. So we're not vibing, and then they want to have their cake and eat it too.
Well, yeah, they will always oscillate. We will always oscillate
Yeah.
as
Yeah.
well.
Cool. I want to get to the next point,
Let's get to it.
if you don't mind. I guess we kind of touched on this. That a gentleman must be patient, and even these little games that you can learn to play with also require patience.
Of course. And, patience is a virtue, and I'm still learning it myself. I think a high quality person has great patience because they understand that other people are not at their level. So they're patient in a sense where they'll be like, I'm going to wait you to figure it out. I'm not going to give you the answer out of care for you. And I'm not going to push you because you need your time to grow through it.
I like that, yeah.
So I'm going to wait you here and you meet me here.
With the asterisks, with the mention that you don't have to do that to the point where you're stepped all over.
Oh, no, definitely. I mean, don't do it out of a feeling of obligation. Don't do it out of a feeling of, I have to do this because, that's right to do, but you don't actually believe that or feel that within you. So do it with people and situations that are worth your time and energy. Don't waste your time and don't waste your life because time is the most
Figuring out who that's the key. That's
and then,
having the tools to figure that out sooner than later, like we said.
And then I'm coming again with this thing where the book is giving you a guideline, but you're the one to adjusting the book to yourself, not yourself to the book.
Yeah.
Because we're all different. So what works for me might very well not work for you at all. So you have to find your answer. It's a book that kind of guides you toward your answers, but eventually you're the only one who can choose your own answers.
You gotta put your spin on it.
Yep.
All right. Kindness is important. Patience is important. We touched on it. Now this one, I want to read this one. If you just a few points. Okay. It says, a gentleman has high moral values. It says kind-heartedness, compassionate, considerate, generous, understanding, and forgiving. Self-reliance, responsible, independent, industrious, self-confident. Humility, polite, admitting one's mistake, friendly. Mutual respect, and loyal towards family, life partner, elderly, teachers. Yes, definitely. You see a guy fucking piss all over a waiter, you're like, you should have the wisdom as a woman to be like, all right.
Yeah, not my kind of.
At some point, you consider him a second-class citizen. At some point, you might consider me. Love, of course. Love for life, love for the environment, for peace and harmony. Courage, brave, stands up for the truth and owns decisions. Resolute, responsible, and accountable. Now, courage sometimes will conflict with kindness in certain situations. Like, if I see, and God knows my girls does this to me, but also the women I dated in the past. If I see you going into a loop of being that it's detrimental to yourself,
Mm-hmm.
at that point, kindness just lets you off the hook. So I
Yeah.
gotta kind of like push you, break that kindness, and have a little courage for the sake of having a little bit of spark to be
Well,
like, listen, this is not fucking good for you, and
mhm.
it's this.
But then again, you're not responsible for other people. You can tell them like, "Hey, I think this is not all right," or you know, just give them your opinion. But I don't think it's giving you any benefits to kind of educate others.
I live for educating others while I not work on myself. I disagree.
Okay. From I mean, what's how do you see it?
Um, yeah, you don't have to like your validation doesn't have to, your prime source of validation doesn't have to come from like, "Oh, I'm gonna make this girl how I think she should live her life,"
Mm-hmm.
because that's bullshit and won't work. You'll push her aside, and she will push you if she insists too much. But there comes a point where if you're a couple for long enough and you have the expectations of spending reasonably the rest of your life with each other, I think yeah, sometimes you gotta use all of your wisdom, trying not to do it too often because obviously you have shit you're working on, so you're
Mm-hmm.
not perfect. But if you kind of see a red flag with your girl that kind of might you think might benefit her, then you go. I'll say it.
Yeah, definitely. And
Like get a hobby. You need a hobby, not for my girl because she's aware of it. But
mm-hmm.
in the past, I'd be like, listen, you need a hobby.
Well, yeah, like guidelines like this, yes, but I am not a promoter of project kind of relationships.
No, I don't say fixer uppers always, because those people who like fixer uppers,
Mm-hmm.
they have their own set of issues.
And
But
usually it's women that do that.
oh,
Usually.
you'd be surprised. I know a few people, a few guys. Uh, but yeah, I think you could. In the end, you could reach, that point you were talking about that you grow apart.
Mm-hmm.
In the end, you could put it if it's something so important and you think will affect you. It's more of a like this will uh, standing your ground and being like, this is not something I like in the
And
person I'm dating.
yeah, and growing apart, I think you also have seen those relationships where they started so wonderful, and maybe you leave them, and then over time they just lose their substance and their taste, and people are like they are together not because of love but because of habit,
Yeah.
and there's like, what's the point? Why live a life out of habit when you can live a life in
Sometimes you don't
happiness?
have enough energy. I fully agree with you on this side, but I'm trying to see into a future and trying to like look at how my parents made a team. And while it fucks over some of the polarity and therefore your sexuality with that person, uh, routine brings stability, and stability brings up quieter kids, not quieter, you know what I mean? Like not so shocked kids or whatever they kind of. So I think in at least couples who have the expectation to have kids, obviously your kids don't have to be your project or whatever because
Mm-hmm.
that's the worst thing you can do, I
Yeah,
believe, to like kind of if it's all about them, then you're not fucking a couple anymore. You're just,
exactly.
but still some of the monotony is to be expected. That's what I'm trying to say, a little bit. That doesn't
Well,
mean being in pajamas all day and then you
mm-hmm.
don't find her sexy anymore. And God knows this fucking COVID hit a lot of couples. Me and my girl, we wisely and still affected us, of course, but we be like, this. We have to set some limits. You know what I mean? You go, I can't see you every day, so it's a small apartment relatively to a house, but I close my door. I'm like, all right, this is my working hours. Don't bother me. Even in the kitchen, I won't always. I try to not engage as much because I need
Yeah,
to
you need your
not.
space.
Yeah, and
Yeah, well, I'm not a big fan of monotony. I just can't do well. Like I had like a pretty shocking breakdown at some point because of I just can't do well with monotony. It's not me. I'm just no. I feel monotony and just not well, like mentally and emotionally. I don't do well with it.
I don't respect that. Let me tell you why. It's not like I judge you in that way. I understand monotony, but also it's a little bit of a, like you said, a little, maybe it's a reactive thing, because I truly believe that the type of kids having lovely, having type of relationship implies that, I said this before, you guys know, heard this before, but I think it has to, you have to sit on the couch looking at each other, having nothing to say to her that day, and she has nothing to say to you that day, and that's okay. And you being like, that's okay. Of course, monotony is relative. So if that goes on for fucking forever, then I agree with Anna. Then that will panic me too, because what is this? We're not even fucking trying anymore. That being said, I guess just the intensity with which you expressed that, sometimes monotony will come. What are you gonna do? Are you gonna act out just because you can't deal with not having a spark for a month?
A month?
Whatever the hell, you know what I mean. I know, I get it. We've been through a rough relationship in the past. Probably it fucked you.
Like
It just disgusts you right now for a man to be so resigned, and I get it.
For me, it's like I've never been the way I design my life. It has never been monotonous. I never had a routine. I always had my things I needed to do, but I always made sure I add some spice to my day. I always do something different in that day, so I won't face the even with myself. I just don't like routines. I wouldn't be the kind of person who wakes up every day at this hour and then does this thing and then the next thing, and second day is the same all over again. Even if it's just the first part, I just can't do that mentally.
You want kids one day?
No.
So you don't want children?
No. So maybe that's why I am like this.
Then my respect is back to on, because that's all what it's about. Is I think kids need a little bit of monotony.
Yeah.
Kids don't need a parent who's be like, oh fuck, you know, like what we doing.
Stability.
Yeah, so they need a little bit of stability. So I guess it's so hard to navigate those waters while keeping stability for a kid, but maintaining enough polarity between you and your girl to kind of like.
Yeah.
My girl has actually, my family wasn't like that, but her parents, I really respected that. This is the first time I stepped into their house, because they have, she has two brothers, and obviously big family, 5 people. They raised them well enough to give them responsibilities. They know that since they were kids, they have to do some things, and then they're like, we're off for they just take off. And I'm talking that one vacation per year that everybody who's 9 to 5 takes, and they'll be like, you know what, I think we're hitting the mountain this weekend.
Oh, nice.
And they just leave.
That's super lovely.
Yeah, her mom just decided, what was it, to walk what was the trail from Spain? I forget the name. Yeah, you forget the name too right now. It's like this huge hiking thing where you do it for a few days, and she did it alone, actually with a friend.
Very nice.
For weeks, yeah. What's that?
Wow.
Yeah, it's this huge trail thing. It's like a body.
That's awesome.
Yeah, and I really, I think coming to kids, I think that's the only way to not let the kids dictate your relationship. Look at me with 0 kids giving fucking advice. So Dave Stoltz, one of my friends and Anna's boyfriend, who doesn't speak English, Romanian, sorry, that well, he just said, "Nu fumat câine vagabond." What's going on, Dave? What was it about? I forgot what we were about.
About having like some sort of stability.
Yeah. So that's the only thing why I would think, if you plan on not having kids, then you can live life according to any whim you have, as long as you keep that connection between you.
Yeah, and it's important for yourself and for the couple, and just have your things separately, and then having your couple staying together, and always checking with each other, see where your partner is right now. Not every day, but do a checkup every couple months.
Yeah.
See if you still are on the same path, or
How would you do that?
where you just sit down and talk, like, hey, what's your plans? Where are you right now? Like, how are you feeling? Do you feel like there's a new direction in your life? Do you feel like you want to change stuff, or just like a basic, are you all right? Like, how are things for you?
Yeah.
I think people do that way too little in relationships, just checking with their partners. Just, how are you? Like, for real. Because I'm fine. It's not the answer you're looking for.
Yeah.
You just want to see how they truly are.
Yeah.
And, see from there.
Yeah. Uh, God knows I should do it more. I agree. All right. Lovely stuff. Of course, I wanted to get to this part. The last point from this chapter is called "A Gentleman Understands and Uses His Dark Side When Necessary."
Well, let me put it this way. It's very simple. So, if you usually feel if a man is very, very soft, so a pussy, basically, or a man has that masculinity in him, like it's in the way he's conducting himself through life and his energy and like the vibe that you feel from him. So you want to, if you're solid enough of a woman, because a man like that would come with a couple of things as a baggage.
Which are, in your opinion?
Well, depends from a man to another, but you want this kind of man to make sure, if something goes bad, he gets your back. He always gets your back. He won't be scared with you, like shaking next to you. He'll be like, hey, I got this.
Is this just I agree with the physical thing?
But also, like,
what was that guy, baby, 7 foot from the gas station that could have killed me if he wanted to? Doesn't matter. It was a story. She got into a fight with 2 dudes.
Oh.
And I, of course, like, fuck you, come here, baby, whatever. And the dude approaches. And he kept getting bigger and bigger.
Oh, wow.
I stood my ground as well as I was like, and he looked at me. He's like, listen, you don't want this trouble. I'm like, I don't want any trouble. You should just fucking speak nice. The other dude spoke badly of you. He had this friend. Anyway, yeah, it doesn't mean, listen, I believe being solid doesn't mean you're not scared.
Well, yeah, you just control it.
You control it. You're trying to resolve the situation as stably and defend the honor as best possible, I guess. Without, it helps if you, I think if you had, this is just pure subjective, guys, pure experience, but if you had scandal in your family, like my folks when they were younger, they were at each other's throats quite a lot of times.
I think all couples are like that, old kind of couples.
Yeah, well, yeah, it was a bit aggressive in my younger years, to the point where I don't want to get too psychological with myself now, but I didn't fear nothing. I don't know how to explain it. It was so bad at certain points in my life, just getting in between them and stuff like that, that even at school, and my ex-schoolmates will tell you, I got my ass whooped a lot. Just, if I have that at home, and life, you don't even understand life. It's all aggression. Then what the fuck can you do to me? So I would just mouth off to like bigger, or for things I thought I was right. I was never be the bully, but I think that helps. Similarly, you're not afraid of arguments that much because you have that in the back of your head. Like, what am I? I'm not gonna say hi to a girl because
what's gonna happen?
Yeah. Like, I lived through that shit. I have fucking ashtrays and shit on my face and like.
Right? But even if you don't, like, ultimately, it is like, what's the worst thing that can happen? Like, related to anything. Like, what is the worst thing? Am I going to die? If the answer is no, then go and do it.
Yeah.
And if the answer is yes, I will still go and do it because it won't matter after that.
Yeah.
So
some guys don't even like, besides the physical side, which arguably you have to know even if you're not in a advantageous position to, you have to know how to solve that solidly. I'll say some guys pussy off even when it comes to like telling off a waiter. You know what I mean? Like, I have the principle of they're human, so they need to feel maybe I'll make his day better if I'm nice to him. But I have a point where he maybe is obviously did something to upset my girl or something, that's a big ball move too. You got to be like, listen, can you come here for a second? Why did you just throw that plate? You know what I mean? That won't result in physical conflict,
Mm-hmm.
obviously, but some men, and I think I lived through it in my lowest periods. You don't even want to search for that conflict.
Exactly, because what's the point?
Yeah, it's like and then you're trying to blame it on the girl. Maybe you should have. So that's part of accessing your dark side too. I would think.
Yeah, and and then it goes all the way to how your because what happens is that when a man uses his dark side, he like grows kind of energetically around the woman,
Mm-hmm.
and then she becomes more comfortable and more feminine because we have way too many masculine women, and it's not necessarily because of you know uh, how society evolved, is because of how men evolved specifically, because men became way too soft nowadays.
Yeah.
So
Talking about
somebody has
nice
to
guys.
balance it out, and that's where women come in the game and try to be masculine and safe.
Fill
And
that void in the
yeah,
relationship,
yeah. So
but they're not. They're
well,
not.
they're
Well,
tempting.
as a general rule, and I'm sure there are exceptions. I'm not sure that they're that happy when that happens.
Some women do like to control and command, and they are the happiest. Then, if they find a man that actually loves being controlled, then everybody's happy. It can be a very successful
Yeah,
relationship
they are,
if they
but
accept
those
their
are the
roles.
exceptions.
Yeah.
I would, off of, off the top of pulled from my ass, I would say maybe like 15% of the relationships are truly like that.
Hmm.
Because a part of those who seem that are like that, and I've had friends. Uh, my friend Cody now comes to mind. I know she doesn't watches this, but she was with another one of my friends, and she seemed at that age, 20 whatever, that she enjoyed being the masculine one, but it's like you said, she was just taking over. So
Yeah.
people would be do that classical thing like, she wears the pants, whatever the hell. But the point is, my buddy Danny at that age, he didn't know how to impose himself to be confident enough.
Hmm.
Eventually, when they both went their ways, they're friends, doesn't matter. But my girl Karina found a quite masculine dude.
Hmm.
And then what seemed like a relationship where like, this is one of those cool relationships where she was dependent. No, in that particular case, she wanted somebody just more solid so that she could be a bit more feminine around because she didn't have to pick up all the like masculine slack
Hmm.
that was supposed to be done.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
even little things like if you tell or you see that guy based on your information about life that he's not showing up as much as you want, even um, telling him like uh, you need to show up, that's hard for these girls, so they just rather accept the pants when
Yeah. 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 And I think it's ultimately it's a decision because it's comfortable to have things in taken away from you. It's hard to be always the one taking decisions. So I do understand men who would oscillate in between the two roles, going from like a very controlling woman to one that's less controlling, so they can take back control. And
well, you mean like in a new relationship?
mm-hmm.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, if they're smart enough.
Yeah, ideally.
The problem is some men just need a mother all the time. And if you turn your woman into your mother all the time, then she's not your woman anymore. She's your mother.
Yeah, agreed. And then we have the mommy's boy,
Yeah, that's
another interesting.
oh well, you can live
Type.
up to his mom no
Yeah,
matter
and
what you do.
yeah, and you have always to check in with mommy. And if mommy says I don't like this, then you're like, let's not upset mommy and do as
Yeah,
mommy
those are
says.
horrible.
And that's it's very frustrating
Yeah,
because a
my dad was a
girl.
mommy's boy when he was younger, so and I felt the my mom's frustration in that case. Yeah.
Because a girl will never try to take the place of your mother. And then he's like where the mother would also like come into the game, and she'll be like, "Oh, he's my little boy," and I'll always
Yeah.
see him as a little one and act like it. And um, I acting like it, trying to you know make up for both roles as a mother and as a girlfriend. So she would like push the girl away. And I've also seen the situations where mothers wanted to go out on dates with their sons, which is absolutely disgusting in my opinion. Like find a man and go with him if you want. Like if
What?
it's Women's Day, maybe like if all the children gather together and they take mommy out, all right. But it's like going on a date just with your mom. I mean, not even including your dad if he's around. It's just like, what are you two doing there?
Yeah, if it's done, oh, I kind of wish I took my mom more.
Well, it's again, it's nice to spend time with your mother and love her. I'm not saying don't love your mom. I'm just saying,
Yeah. No, I
just
understand exactly what you're saying.
place
Sometimes
some limits.
depends on how your mom is, I guess. I don't know. My mom always like you're an idiot, but in a good, but in a like obviously trying to make me a better person type of way. But my mom also she never put herself on a pedestal.
Mm.
Like even if my after my dad passed a few years ago, she did say like, and even during, she's like, you see your father as a monster when you were younger, but I always enable him and always poke him.
Oh, okay.
So she would never put herself on a pedestal, and she proved that to me over and over again when she because my dad was a mama's boy.
Mm-hmm.
She only took care of even now with my girl. Oh, you're together. You have your night. Okay. You go have your night. Don't talk to me. All right, cool. So yeah, I guess it's important. And if you don't have a mother like this, I guess it's important as a man to figure it out as soon as possible and mediate. I had an episode on this
Mm.
to mediate. It's on your duty as a man to mediate and your relationship with your mother and your girl.
Mm-hmm.
So if
Yeah.
you see too much overburdening from your mother, I guess you should step in and be like, "Mom, this is my relationship with my family. I love you. Can you back off?" Similarly, if you see the girl being pissed every time, then you be like, "Listen, you gotta have some respect for my mom."
Mm-hmm. Yeah, definitely. And I'm not saying be disrespectful. Again, it's your mom, it's your family, it's your first family. But you can't stay
No,
overly attached to that, because that will prevent you from actually moving on into a relationship completely, because you'll always be taking care of mommy.
yeah.
So,
Well, depends. Yeah,
no,
depends on
like if you're always taking care of mommy, you can't fully be in a relationship.
yeah,
You just
obviously.
can't.
If your mom is the constant victim,
Mm-hmm.
and we know some of these cases, I'm sure. I know, but it's yeah. Okay, no, we can debate about this.
Of course.
I want to cover as much as possible out of your book. Remind me later. The second chapter is called "The Definition of a Gentleman." Um, it says, I'm reading subchapters, people. So please, if you are interested, get the book. We will have some sources here at the end. The look and care of a mannered man. That's a huge ass chapter.
It is.
The gentleman. Okay, let's start with this one. I don't want to jump ahead. How should a gentleman look? Says the guy who does a podcast in a t-shirt, yet goes to search for buying a house in a suit and tie.
Well, it's not about the kind of clothes you wear. It's about how clean they are, how well, like how well they fit you, what's the structure, if they flatter you or not, and knowing your size. Because I've seen so many men just not wearing the right size in anything, shoes, clothes, and so that's one. And then
Yeah,
also,
so come to speak of consigliere and having a proper custom fit.
that's just absolute a fantastic company. Just if you want to get like a wonderful suit, like custom made, Consigliere. It's a Romanian company. They're fantastic.
Yeah,
Great
I showed
price.
them the commercial I did
Oh.
for them. I'm sure they in and out. Maybe not all of them saw it, but
But they also
yeah.
have the casual line. So if you're tired of going into a cabin and trying stuff out, just go there. They'll make your jeans custom made and polo shirts, and you look just fabulous.
Yeah, well, that's you have to reach a certain level to kind of like afford that lifestyle, and you have to earn it, like Dave said, right? But
Yeah, but
that doesn't mean, like you said,
mm-hmm.
you can have normal clothes. Just make sure they fit you. Have a little sense of,
Yeah, and then if you don't know how to match your clothes, just look on Pinterest or Google or whatever. Like, you have cheap options. And another thing is with the fake clothes and items. I've seen, especially here in Romania, I've seen so many men and women going for fakes just to look cool, like look like they have money and make a statement.
I wouldn't know. I couldn't tell a fake from. I can tell if the girl's fake. Then I was like, oh, that's probably fake too.
Well, the people that know them, and they will draw the right conclusions on that.
What are the conclusions?
Well, you
Because I'd rather have a Zara shirt if I
yeah.
can afford a 300 euro shirt.
It's about being honest.
Yeah,
It
yeah, yeah.
goes all the way back to the undercode. Like, are you honest to who you are, where you are right now? And I'm not saying be complacent of where you are, but just take your time. If it takes you, I don't know, 3 more years to get a custom made T-shirt, wait for it. It's fine. Or 3 more years to get your Balenciaga or whatever you want to get. Just take your time with it, and you'll appreciate it even more. Because think of it, when you're wearing a fake, um, you will know it's a fake, and the energy that it will give you and the vibe that you'll give to people around will be off, because they'll feel you're fake, and it's never fun.
That's kind of a catch-22 because a person who would wear a fake would do it just because they're complexed about not owning one.
Mhm.
So that implicitly is
But
them being like, "This is not real. This is not, you're not real, not the real thing."
exactly, so that will reinforce even more their complexes
Yeah,
and
but
their
that's
insecurities.
the starting point. They're already lost, in my opinion, right?
Well, yeah, yeah, yeah.
Because they got to figure that for themselves. Like, all
Hmm.
right, at the opposite pole, people, especially men, who just don't give a shit.
Well, yeah. And that again, not everybody has to be a gentleman and not everybody has to be a lady. It's a choice. Because, for example, I have this very fun story right now, but in the moment it was just, you know, less bearable. So I was at this event talking about, manners and how I think they're important. And this guy came to me and he was like, well, miss, do you think that on Victoria Street, if I want to open some girl's door for like the car door, do you think I will have the time to do that and people won't get mad at me? And I'm like, well,
Wait,
it's
who was this?
just a random dude,
All
like
right,
an uneducated dude.
all right,
And I'm like, well, he's a lawyer in Bucharest.
all right.
And I was like, well, that's exactly when she will appreciate it even more because you took those extra 3 seconds to open her door despite traffic.
Yeah, good point.
And he was like, no, she'll be stressed. And I'm like, no, she'll appreciate it because you took the time to make her feel comfortable and take her time to get out of the car.
Yeah.
And he just went around then and told everyone like how he thinks it's a stupid thing. And everybody was like, what's your deal, dude? Like he was just like getting in like small groups of conversations to just tell them how stupid my idea was.
Uh-huh.
So when I told him, I'm like, look, you don't have to be a gentleman. He was like, yeah, but people will judge me, right? I'm like, exactly. But it's a choice.
Yeah.
And you have to live with the consequences of your choice.
Yeah, but I would also argue that there are, well, I liked the concept of being a hidden gentleman. I like people
Surprising
considering
them.
me an asshole, yeah, a little bit, and then creating that contrast where I do something.
Well, that's
Uh,
always fun.
It's always fun, trust me.
And it will definitely impress someone more.
Oh, I always
Uh,
lower expectations before I drop.
But that's a smart
Right.
strategy.
It's
It's a
just
bit of a manipulation too, but
listen. I'm gonna go again. I talk with these girls. Manipulation, in my opinion, ladies and gentlemen, is everything is a manipulation. If I make Anna laugh because whatever the combinations of words I use, I manipulated her in having a better mood. I think a word manipulation gets a bad rap. We manipulate each other's. Uh, Consequently, if I like I do with my girl, right? I see she's pissy and she cannot just break out of it. She has to like reach the point where she can't sleep until she
mhm.
talk. That's a manipulation. I know what she's doing. I know. So then I say something extremely mean. Whatever comes then, that's a manipulation. I know how to get it. I know my ultimate intention is to make her feel good and make ourselves come to peace again and love each other. Why is that a bad rap? Manipulation. You know what I mean? Is you being conscious of what you're doing bad as far as the end result is not evil?
Well,
It just
dep-
means you're a more mature, not much more mature, more yeah, you could be mature. It doesn't have to. It doesn't always have to do with maturity. Yeah, you know that person in that particular case better than she knows herself, and you know how to. You use manipulation.
yes and no.
Tell me.
Because, in my opinion, maybe these manipulations will solve stuff fast, but I prefer more diplomatic way. Myself personally, it depends from person to person, but I don't think it's um, wise to use it, because if you, like in this specific case, if you keep using the manipulation, you won't allow her the space to grow into getting herself to the place without your help.
No, I'm not saying doing it. I constantly mix things up. Don't get me wrong, but that's also manipulation to the second level.
Yeah.
You know, you have the tools and you mix them up how you
Yeah,
want to.
but if you let her figure it out, eventually she'll learn by herself to get out of those moments by herself and come to you and say, hey, this upset me.
Oh, of course, that's what I'm saying. I'm not doing
Yeah.
it always. Sometimes
Mhm.
she needs her space. I let her process if I feel like it's a thing more delicate. Because I'm not looking to break that tension in between us just for the sake of resolving it.
Mm.
I want to get something out of it. I mean, even us as a couple. So I don't want to resolve it just for the sake of not being tension in between us, so we can be together again. No, I want to see what the bottom is, and
Okay.
I feel like it's something that she needs to process more.
Well, you know that saying in Romania that we have, like, if you want to have a happy couple, you don't go to sleep upset with each other.
Why?
Because you're building resentment. Because overnight you're like thinking, and especially us women, we think and
Good.
think, and we
I
find
don't
out.
give a shit.
Well, that doesn't help anyone.
I
Is
don't.
that
I don't care.
constructive?
I don't care. I know I love you, right? I know I love her.
Yeah, but
And if one night, I'm not saying always, again, mix it up. But if one night she needs to be upset at me, good. I will let her be upset. And next morning, I'll go handle my business. Well, let's be realistic. She wakes up before me because I work late nights. So it's when I'm at my most creative, unfortunately. But you know what I mean?
yeah, but how is that constructive for the well-being of the relationship? If you're allowing that part of the conflict to just like be there with no real reason, it's just.
Well, if I find it silly,
Mhm.
sometimes, because like I said, I'm involved. I try to poke her when I think it's something resolved.
Mhm.
If I find it silly, it's I want to transmit that it's not something worth my time. So if she wants to approach this in a different way, good. But if she keeps on with the silly part of what I consider silly that time,
Mhm.
I'm just. It's if I'm analyzing now, I'm imposing my limit, but I'm doing it instinctively. I'm like, all right,
Okay.
I'm gonna be upset, and I consider
Well,
this.
yeah, man.
Or then the second day, come and tell me, listen, we
Mhm.
really want to talk about this. All right, we want to
Yeah.
talk about, and then I'd be like, all right, she's making a step towards this. But this just being upset with you just for the sake of being upset. All right, good. If I feel I've done nothing wrong, until you address what is it that bothers you, sometimes I let you. It's
Mhm.
the other coin of not pushing her. When you said let her
Well,
grow,
yeah.
it's some of it involves
Mhm.
overnight.
Well, I would say that indeed when people do need to learn how to get out of this stuff on their own, um, and I think it's important to know when to go, but not be overly nice, not be like, oh, let me fix it. Don't be a fixer, but just you know don't allow unnecessary conflict to linger around just because, like, with no real reason.
I agree, but you can define unnecessary.
Well, that's very subjective to
Yeah.
each and every one of us.
Yeah.
I agree.
Cool, cool. All right. We covered the look.
Mhm.
Then we I'm sure we barely scratched the surface of
Well,
it.
of course.
We get the bug fuckers if you wanted the whole gist of it. General behavior and conduct. And this is again, to me, it sounds so subjective. I'm yet to read it. I'm sure I will, at least part of it. An audiobook would sure help.
Well, maybe we can make it happen.
All right. Uh, I would argue behavior and conduct is so subjective. Tell me, what does this book say about it?
Well, I'll just take one part of this entire chapter, which is like pretty big, and it's like, how do you behave on the street?
On the street.
On the street, just like walking on the street.
All right.
So let's say you're walking on the street and you're rushing, and then maybe you have a coffee in your hand and you spill it over somebody. And this goes back to respecting yourself, which is making sure you have a good time management. So if you have a good time management,
That's so true.
you won't be rushing, and you'll be having a nice walk to your destination, maybe business or pleasure or free time or whatever, and arrive at that place in a good mood, and not all in sweat because you are so late, and
Yeah.
just like having to like, "Oh, I just made it here. Sorry for being late." It's just not pleasant. And then eating on the street is another thing that people should not be doing, because
What do you mean, like full chocolates at once?
anything anything as much as you crave them, just wait until you can sit somewhere, because you can maybe choke on something. You can It's not aesthetically pleasant to see people like chewing on the street.
As a general rule, yes.
Yeah. And so these would be two things that I would say are very important. And I never like to be late. I hate being late, so I'm always making sure
Oh, I hate it too, but I am late.
I always make sure I arrive at least like 15 minutes earlier, because it just I don't like myself having that like rushed feeling and like not making it in time, and then
I agree.
being all over because if you're late, then it takes you some time to calibrate to what you have to do, and then gather all your words and do your thing. So it's wasting more of your time on top of being late, which is already wasting time of yours and others.
Yeah, but sometimes it happens.
Well,
I
if
mean,
it's an
there's degrees of
exception,
it.
like, but
Every now and again.
don't make it a rule, or don't allow it to happen too often.
Like you said, these are general guidelines. Because even in eating on the street, I would argue that if I want to grab my girl by the hand and take her to the beach and having just a couple of, I don't know, something to eat.
Eating on the beach, it's different.
You know what I mean? Like spontaneous shit, then fuck what the world thinks. So how about...
It's a choice, right?
I know you side. I know you put more pressure on what society says. But I think going back to sometimes I think this is a challenge more for women. Like I would test your limit, or a girl like you is limit when it comes to this. Like she's very sociable. I would put you in uncomfortable positions, even if I know, just to see.
Well, Dave did.
I'm sure he
super
is
uncomfortable. We
He's
were in this town, and we went to a restaurant to eat for lunch, and I ordered fries because I didn't like anything in the menu, and they came without a fork. And I was like, "Where's my fork?" He was like, "Well, we eat fries with our hands here." I'm like, "What?" He was like, "Yeah." I'm like, "Well, this is a restaurant. Like, it's not a fast food. It's a restaurant. He's like, "Yeah, that's how you eat them." And he had me eat the fries with my hands
Good.
for the first time
Good.
in a restaurant. I felt so embarrassed and so disgusting and just like horrible.
Yeah, I'm sure you laughed it off afterwards.
Well, I am now, but in the moment I was just like, what am I doing? Like all my rules and everything.
That's what I'm saying. So that's I guess I'm sure Dave knows this well enough, but um, this is on silent. But yeah, when it comes to strictly to you being such a calculated person, I guess that's what. And Ioana resembles you girls are from the same. Sometimes it's nice just to. I would just say random shit out loud if I feel like it's one of those things, and see her do that face that she does. But eventually she laughs it off, even if it was uncomfortable. And I feel like because I need to test the girl. I need to test the girl to see that. Because in every man's psyche, you don't have to think. I know it's easy to say you don't have to think as failure as a possibility, but sometimes you need to know if the girl will stand by you through thick and thin. And this is one of the things I did, especially attracting. Been with a lot of girls, but I would say the girls I loved or fell in love with maybe had this typology of being more right. I would put them in the position where they're uncomfortable, just to see did they succumb to the society, and making a face where she's embarrassed by me. I mean, she could make the face, you know what I mean? Would she actually shut off and judge me for it, or would she be like, So I use that as I can name them. I don't know consciously, but. Like you girls have tests. This is one of my tests. You know what I mean?
Yeah, fair enough. And everyone has to test to see what the other person is
and even
about.
after the test is gone, like sometimes I need you to say fuck all what you think. I like this man. I love this man, and I'm proud of him. You know what I mean? So
Mm-hmm.
I think Dave really enjoyed that.
I don't know. Maybe he'll write about it.
I'm sure he won't. Don't do it, buddy. Don't put anything in writing because you can bullshit when it's spoken. He knows this. He did write something. You never know what kind of man you are until someone pulls a gun on you. Oh, I never had a gun pulled on me. Had a knife.
A knife.
But it was more of a threat to get the fuck out of my face. So I just
Oh,
went
okay.
around. So it wasn't directly at me. Yeah, I bet. I bet you living in the fucking states where you you get a gun before you get a pace. What is it? Pacifier as a baby, Suzetta, right? I don't know. Probably you could say that. Then what do you do, Dave? You have to come in Romania, man. You have to be part of this podcast. One episode. I guess you just stood your ground, right? Try not to make any sudden moves, but also don't cower them. I would guess. I would like to believe I would have that strength just to be like, you know, I, I'm not threatening you, man, but I'm not fucking, I'm not cowering. Because people who, especially, I would think, who pull guns, they would find a reason. You know what I mean? If you're too scared, you would sympathetic to them. Um, oh, the volume is down. Sorry, buddy. This if you scroll back to the podcast in the beginning, you'll see that the volume was we had problems. After I end this live stream, I will take it down and I will re-upload the one with the clear sound. We hear none of the bad sound and our levels are good, but it's too late to figure it out right now. Dave says, stand your grounds, stay grounded, talk your way out of it if possible. Yeah, I would agree. Like, don't threaten them if you're no position to defend yourself, but stand your ground. And this is the point I was going. Like, I think somebody would if you go too pathetic,
Mm-hmm.
they give even more angrier depending on the person's psychology. And
Yeah, I think it's very
you'll
situational.
it is, I guess.
I mean, I am assuming
Yeah,
because I've never faced the situation.
yeah.
Thank
I
God.
think Dave did, right?
Yeah, I think once or twice.
Yeah, that's why he's bragging in the comments.
He's the man.
Yeah, yeah. I would agree with Dave. What Dave did, I would like to think I would react the same way. Then again, you don't know. You have kids. Did you go towards your kid? Cover him.
It's
You have a girl with you. You kind of pull her aside. Maybe this is like similarly. Maybe if my girl wasn't there, I would fucking mouth after that dude. Cause just okay, what are you gonna do? Come at me. I have a fucking knife in. It doesn't matter, right? I like, but if it's my girl, stood my ground, like he said, trying to diffuse it. All right, still my girl step back and try to handle it.
well, it depends on what state they are. Like, are they under drugs? Are they under alcohol? Because it can change a lot their
You're right.
reactions.
You're right.
If there's like again a rational person wouldn't do that.
Yeah.
So you can talk, kind of like do what you say with like a person trying to like negotiate with.
Yeah, I think this is what they've meant by standing your ground
Mhm.
is and it's the staying grounded. I think part of it is just trying to figure out the solution
Yeah,
of,
yeah.
and this part of the solution is the state disguising.
Because sometimes, as good as you are in negotiating, if they're like
Yeah,
crazy enough, they can kill you.
yeah, yeah. Probably
But
reading the moment, I think, is most important.
mm-hmm.
Yeah. Twice. Stop bragging, old man. All right. Cool. I think we're already 2 hours in. I still want to skim through this
Okay.
a little bit, if you don't mind. We still have a
Yes,
little bit of
please.
time. Greeting and saying hello. Let me just skim through a few of them, and
Okay.
then I'll pick a couple of them. Shaking hands firmly, but suavely, but gently. Introducing people, being introduced, and introducing yourself as a gentleman. All right. I'm sure there's a lot of things there. The art of conversation. Ooh.
Mm-hmm.
The phone of a gentleman is social media, online interactions. Okay. At the table.
Yeah, that's my favorite part.
Now let's talk about your favorite part. A gentleman at the table.
So it's about I mean, in that specific chapter, it goes all the way to booking your restaurant and where you take people out and how you choose the restaurant, and even if you're making yourself the dinner or you're invited to. But this is correlated with the program that we have in Fearless, which is about, it's called the Bad Boys and the Gentlemen.
All right.
So part of this program is taking the guys out for dinner, where I would to lunch, sorry, where I would adjust their their
Again,
posture.
what's Fearless is one of my clients, and I would say their management is my friends right now. She's a coach there, and when she means the fellas, she means their clients, right?
Yeah.
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 So she doesn't just pick up random people on the street and be like, "Hey, let's go to lunch."
How the fuck are you eating here?
All right.
So we take them out to lunch, and then I correct their posture and how to hold their utensils and how to eat proper the food that they served. And I have this funny story about this guy who was had like a pretty important function in the company he was working in, and he was holding the forks like this and the knife. And I'm like, how do you even go to business meetings like that? Like,
right.
How is that a thing?
Teach me. I need help.
So, I teach them how to hold the utensils and use them. Not that I'm able to do that right now.
Yeah.
But that's why I eat mostly soup now and, juices, because I can't do anything properly.
You could just
so then you
live a little. Just put the fork in like the dude.
Hands.
And yeah. Just French fries.
And, like teach them how to eat the salad leaves. Because I've also seen a lot of people, even like random people that I didn't know, just stabbing the salad leaves and stuffing them in their mouths. And it was just disgusting. Like, you fold it with your fork and knife, and then you put it in your mouth nicely, and then you eat.
I would say I agree, but pasta is really difficult for me.
With the spoon, you can do it.
I know I do it with the spoon, but you know what me and my girl like? We like to do perfect. Like if we order food, we try not to get the same food so we can... So then we make perfect bites for each other.
Oh.
And she always gives me these nice perfect bites, and all my spaghetti is all she's trying to like hunt this fucking spaghetti in the full restaurant. That's that's also funny to me.
Well, speaking of that, one of the nights I was in the mountains, I was with this group, and I ordered pasta. They had like sandwiches and whatever. And I didn't receive my spoon for the pasta, and I was like, "Well, excuse me, miss, I need my my spoon." And somebody in the group was like, "We are all so like peasants, and you're the only one eating." He was something like, "I wish you dropped the spoon so we can feel better." I'm like, "Well, I won't, because that's who I am. I can't just drop the spoon at command." But yeah, it's just who I am.
So is this just regarding how he holds the cutlery, or is it?
It's also how you eat different types of food, different types of meat, of fruits.
Do you know how to use chopsticks?
Yeah.
Well, not now with your left hand, but
I can. It's with the right.
So would you judge a man if he didn't know how to do it, but he orders sushi?
Well, if I see him willing to try or wanting to learn, I wouldn't.
Just stabbing sushi with each one and just bathing it in soy sauce and eating it.
I wasn't born knowing how to use the sticks. I learned, and I actually went to this dinner at Benihana, and it was my first time using chopsticks. And I was like, Jesus Christ, like, how do I make this happen? And I was like, so embarrassed, and I'm like,
why is that such a pressure? I don't understand, especially for you. Like I know how to use chopsticks, but if when I didn't, I would be like, listen, I don't know how to use these, so I'm gonna be just make a little joke about it, address it. I'm gonna just be as elegant as possible with this fork. So I would just take the fork.
Well, there was no fork. There were just chopsticks, and they wouldn't give you forks.
They wouldn't give you forks?
No.
I would make a point for them to give me forks next time. I would just drink the soy sauce in front of everybody and just like make a mess. I did ask for a fork, didn't I? I was trying to be... All right.
So, I'm always trying to be up to the highest expectations of myself. So...
Oof, that's high pressure to put on yourself.
Yeah, and I was like, well, how do I know? I was looking around the people, and of all the foods that I ordered, I had rice with like vegetables and then I think shrimp. I was like, how do I get this rice on my chopsticks? I was like, God damn it.
How did you solve that mystery?
I just tried to copy the position. I was looking at people around me and I'm like, okay, that's kind of how it looks like. And I struggled for a little bit. I made some bits of rice staying on the chopsticks at first and I was so hungry. But I made it eventually.
Just take the fucking coaster and
Yeah.
put it in the rice. This is what you get for not giving out forks.
But you know, it's adapting and admitting one's limits and asking for help. Like I could have very well asked someone that was with me that they're like, "Can you please show me how to use your chopsticks?"
I disagree. I think you learn how to use the chopsticks at home and or use the fork in a restaurant if possible.
Yeah, if they give you one.
Benny Hanna, what are you guys doing? Come on.
So you know, it just but it's all about willingness to learn. Because again, we weren't born knowing how to use the utensils and how to eat fruits and whatever. And if we weren't lucky enough to have a family that would teach us how to do all of this, having the will to learn, I think that's more precious than anything else. Most
I
important.
respect it. I believe I'm when I don't want to.
You just made me crave sushi so bad.
Yeah, right. I know. I believe sometimes I don't know what you mean again by manners. I understand these things, and obviously I'm semi joking. You have to be manner, but I'm not sure I know that code of manner type of thing. Like couldn't tell a salad spoon from a normal spoon.
Look, for example,
I don't want to learn either. Like I'll take them in order, and if they didn't put them in order, tough shit. It's on them.
well, that's exactly how you eat. Like you eat from exterior toward the interior of the set.
Ah, see?
Yeah,
I
that's
always
how-
go
that's
from
how you do
interior
it.
to exterior.
Yep, that's how you do it.
I did it the other
From
way around.
exterior to interior.
Yeah, I did it the
Yeah.
other way.
Oh,
It's all good. Learn something.
so what was I about to say?
I don't know.
Forgot my idea.
Sorry.
Oh, no, I forgot. I'm sorry.
That's all good. All right. So this is just the etiquette of.
And it was I
Go
just
ahead.
remembered. It's about how you know you sit at the table. Do you stay with the elbows on, your hands like this, or how? What's your
Is your
posture?
posture good?
And then what do you do with the material, the cotton napkin that's on the table? What do you do with it? I've seen so many people putting it here.
Yeah, I know that's a bad
And
sign.
you're not 3-year-old. You're like older
He
than
looks
that.
pretty goofy.
Yeah. So
Are you supposed to put it in your lap though?
exactly. And there's a way to do it because, like, if you're eating something that has crumbles and it falls into it and it's like misplaced in your lap, when you take it off, it just spread everything around.
Yeah.
So, and I've also seen people like taking it from their lap, dirty, obviously, and fold it back nicely. That's not what you do because it's
do
already
you do?
dirty. You just like,
You just cup it up,
yeah, and then
spit
you
in it, and throw it at the waiter.
like catch. No, you just like, fold it back together. I mean, like, make like
Yeah, a little bag.
yeah, and then you put it on the table
All right.
because it's
Yeah, but I understand these things, and you should. Hold on, I have notes from my. All right, baby. Um, I forgot my idea now.
about learning and about the napkin.
Yeah. So if you're in, if you go to a restaurant, just eating. Again, it's a time and a place. I respect man, obviously I know most of these things and I'm not going to make a fool of myself, but I want to give myself the possibility of making a fool of myself sometimes. But of course, we're going to KFC and we're having fun. I'm not going to
But
be like
that's-
this.
Of course, again,
Or
it's
I'm
adapting.
a bit drunk and I'm going to position myself, on the L side of my girl. I'm not going to be like this. I'm going to just lean into her and pull her bitties and
Mhm.
like tease her and whatever the hell. So I respect the general rules, but I wouldn't put myself. I would like to believe instinctively I would know where I'm in a situation to kind of like be more stern and more like. But usually I don't actively think about it. Hopefully I do a good job on autopilot.
Speaking of adapting, for example, there's a code of how you're using your stencils to send a message to the waiter or to the chef. And
You mean the parallel?
so if you put them like this, that means I'm finished. Or
Yeah.
like this, it's also finished. My hands don't help a lot right now.
If you like this, or if you put like this, I'm. If you put it.
But for example, if you want to tell the chef that the food was excellent, you would just put the fork and the knife facing the right edge of your plate.
How would he know it's a round plate?
Well, like if you're sitting like this and then
No, the dude
well,
does the table doesn't
well toward the
maintain a spatial orientation where he brings it back to the
well
kitchen.
toward the left, it doesn't mean anything, so you're safe on that. But
I guess the handle would dictate the direction because
yeah.
you won't put it like this.
But my point is, there's no use in doing that at, let's say, La Mama in Bucharest, because they wouldn't know. They don't care. They'll be like, whatever, they finished.
Yeah.
So it's again adapting to the place you're at.
Yeah.
If you do that in a Michelin restaurant, the chef will come to you to thank you for your appreciation and meet you.
So once again, if I ever go to one, how do I compliment the chef?
So it's a fork and knife facing, they're parallel like this and facing the right edge.
Yep.
Edge of the plate.
But I'm always putting them parallel to. Oh,
Yeah,
you
but you
mean
put
the edge goes
like
towards.
like an equal sign.
Yeah. How you see it? It's equal.
Yeah.
I always go like this. All right,
Mhm.
I get it.
So that means that just you're finished and no comments. And then if it was excellent, you just make them point to the right.
Cool. Good thing to know.
And there are many others.
How
but
do
you
I
have to
how do I
read.
tell the how do I put the things to tell the chef
It was bad.
I need more food?
More food. Well,
I need the portions to be bigger.
you put them in a plus or an X.
No, I was kidding. There's
No, it's,
actually
yeah.
what if you put them in a plus, you tell them what?
You want more, a second portion. That's what it means.
No, I meant the same portion at the same money, but just more.
I don't think that's possible.
How do you just glue one and the other? No, I'm kidding. Cool. Yeah, I know the. I knew the parallel thing, and so now I learned this, and now the X is I get another one.
It's an X or a plus. It's both means multiplication or an additional one or multiply what I just got. And again, do that at McDonald's and they'll be like,
Yeah.
what?
With what though in McDonald's? You
again,
eat
yeah, you're
fries
right.
with your hand on it. Have you forgotten already?
Yeah, I'm sorry.
And burgers. Do you eat? Hey Dave, do
But-
you eat burgers with the knife and fork, man? Who does that?
No, nobody. Actually, it's written in the
You
code.
do it
that-
with?
Yeah. The burger, the pizza, and the quesadillas, you eat them with your hands.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. That's how you eat them. That's how they're made to be eaten.
So you're fine with the quesadilla, but you can't eat fries?
No.
What if I put like a bunch of fries in a tortilla? Could you eat it then?
Well, tricky questions.
Yeah, I know. I like them.
But I mean, in a fast food situation, like you have burgers and fries, you obviously are going to eat your fries with your hands, but not in a restaurant. For me, it was like what
Yeah, I
what
got
was
the contrast.
strange for me is like I was in a restaurant. I'm like,
Yeah.
how do I do that? Like, but I survived.
I love it. All right. This was lovely. We are all 2 hours in already, so I'm guessing to repost this. I'm trying to give people a chance to actually watch it. Would you like to say something like about the book besides where you can find to buy it or and all that details? Closing arguments.
Well,
Why did you write this book? Who did you do it for? Why should they consider it?
because as I was saying in the beginning, it helps you if you have the curiosity and willing to upgrade your lifestyle and live better and more beautiful with yourself. And I think that's something everyone should aim to. Because if we're all self-sufficient and we're just like, I'm good like this, then that says a lot about your quality as a human being. But if you're having the way not to change it all, because you can't just like work it all at once, it's impossible. And I haven't learned it all at once. But my advantage, my mom taught me when I was 4. That's when this education started. So it's easier for me, and it was easier for me to absorb it. But it's never too late. You can be 50, you can be 60, and still start learning how to live more beautifully. And going just shortly back to the eating part, when you're eating right, you're enjoying more your food. It tastes better, and you actually, allow yourself the time to enjoy every bite, and not just like you'll make out of eating an art. It won't be just an act of that helps you survive.
Do you chew your food 8 times? Before you swallow?
No, but I always like to eat with my table set right. It makes me feel better about my food, and even when I'm at home with my parents or like here, I'm just trying to make it a nice experience.
Wait a minute. So you don't eat in the living room sometimes watching a movie?
No, I don't watch anything while I'm
Oh.
eating. I may have a conversation.
We're getting a divorce. I know we're not married, but we're gonna get married and get a divorce just because of that. What do you mean? I don't mean always. Sometimes me and my girl want to eat in the kitchen. Okay, we
Mhm.
set the table. We try to not leave the ashtray on the table. No, we set it up, right? But sometimes we're like, let's catch a movie. Would you have dessert on a couch? Would you have share a piece of chocolate with Dave on the couch watching a movie?
Chocolate is different. I have chocolate everywhere, even in the bed.
Do you use a fork?
Always, Cosmin, always. Tying my cutting my little yeah. Always.
Awesome, ladies and gentlemen. Please tell the people where they can find the book.
You can find the book on thefearlessman.com/lifestyle, or just go on the website thefearlessman.com and search for lifestyle. Or you can type my name on Google and say
The Lifestyle of a
of a
Gentleman.
Gentleman and Ana Maria Dibu, and you'll find the ebook like that.
As far as I'm concerned, although they are my clients, they're not paying me for this. I like the fellas. I like Anna. Obviously, it's the second time she came here, and I believe she is capable of teaching you greasy fucks some things as well as me. So it was just me trying to bring this to the surface with the limited power I have. It was a pleasure
you.
having you.
Thank you for having me. It was fun being here again.
Cool. Likewise, and
Will we type the link in? Would you do that, or will you do that in the description, maybe?
guys,
later?
I will have to re-upload this. So as soon as this, probably I should put it up tomorrow night, so that, because if you put in late at night, people won't have notifications for it. But I'm gonna take this down because the sound is bad anyway. For those of you who can hear this, and then upload it at a proper volume, and then you can find all the details in the description. So about this time tomorrow evening, probably around 7. So earlier, it will be reposted, and hopefully you will get some information out of it. That being said, once again, it was lovely.
Lovely having you. I mean, loving being here with you.
Yeah, you're having
Having
can take
fun.
over this podcast for a few. God knows they're bored of me. And you too, ladies and gentlemen, thank you for watching. It's lovely to have somebody bounce off my ideas off them. I'm sure you guys are tired of hearing me rant. I will try to get Anna back as soon as possible.
Thank you. And
until-
hopefully with this off.
And hopefully with her body being intact until that time. Have the loveliest of evenings.
Bye.
Peace.